Hello everyone, this is a quick tutorial introducing Linux, and we're going to learn what Linux really is. Linux is a family of operating systems that is based on Linux kernel, and kernel is the heart of any modern operating systems. And kernel really is a program itself that mediates access to computer resources such as processor or CPU, random access memory or RAM for short, and all their input-output devices such as mouse, keyboard, microphones, cameras, etc., printers, and so any operating systems that are based on Linux kernel are called distributions, and there's many different Linux distributions. A lot of them are fully functioning desktops, like this one I'm using. Just here on the left top it says Ubuntu desktop, where I'm underlying with my mouse. Others Linux distribution could be serving a simpler function as a firmware for a router, for example. If I can draw this a very simple analogy, I guess might help you to understand Linux distribution, Linux family, and what Linux kernel is. For example, Volkswagen family would have a range of different models, but they all would have, they would have a Volkswagen engine. In simple terms, it'll be the same engine used in different models. Same as a Linux kernel. It's a one kernel used in many different distributions. And so I thought I'll just show you the different types of distributions. So I'm going to click on Firefox here on the left, and so we could see Ubuntu here is the distribution I'm using here. It's very popular, so you could download Ubuntu here for a desktop, laptop. There's even Ubuntu Touch for phones now. Fedora is another very popular distribution. Again, fairly easy to use. You could download it for server, cloud, or a desktop. Linux Mint, yet another Linux distribution, also very good with fully functioning desktop. DistroWatch is a very good website that I wanted to show you. Here it's all currently in a recently released different Linux distributions, and for example, IPFire is a Linux distribution for firewalls. Rather, it's not a fully functioning desktop. It's just a one application to like a firmware for a firewall, for a modem or router to be a firewall. For example, here's a Ubuntu released on 22nd of January, and so there's all these different distributions been released. The recent one at the top, obviously, but I want to draw your attention to this column here on the right hand side. This is a ranking of all these different Linux distributions. And Linux Mint currently ranks number 1, Ubuntu ranks number 2, Fedora number 5, etc. But that's all, more or less irrelevant, I suppose, because all of the Linux distributions are just as powerful and just as useful. And the good thing about Linux, really, is if you learn one distribution, you could easily navigate yourself in any other distributions. Even though they're very different, they're still Linux, and you still, should be able to get your way around fairly easily. And so I'm just going to show you a couple of features of this Ubuntu desktop. So we've got the panel on the left with all these different applications. We've seen the Firefox. This is a word processor, LibreOffice, where you could make open source documents. I like Word documents. I like the Microsoft compatible, I suppose. Spreadsheet. And the PowerPoint as well. Settings, and this is Ubuntu Software Center, where you can download all these different software applications, anything you like. Let's have a look if Google Chrome is here. Chrome, it's not here because it's a third-party application, but we've got Chromium, I believe. Chromium. Let's see, Chromium web browser. For example, you could download that and install that. That's an open source open source browser project that aims to build safer, faster, and more suitable way for all the internet users to experience the web. So this is like Google Chrome, I suppose. And I just want to show you this one last application. I guess Skype is very popular amongst people, communicating with each other, etc. So that's also available on Linux. So Linux really is a fully functioning desktop. It's very powerful, and it really competes with Windows and OS. And the good thing about Linux is that it's free. So hopefully you've learned a little bit about Linux, and you're eager to get into it. All right, enjoy. Thanks, guys. Bye.